While more Nigerians have continued to comment on the directive given by President Muhammadu Buhari on the relocation of the command center to Maiduguri in Borno State. The former Minister of Education and leader of the Bring Back Our Girls campaign organization, Mrs. Obi Ezekwesili, says Nigerians should just wait to see how the speech will be translated into action. Mrs. Ezekwesili, who spoke to Channels Television in Abuja, described the speech as inspiring as it was loaded with action.
It should persuade and a great speech should inspire. But that's just two. The final thing that a great speech should do is that it should lend itself to being worked on and to producing results. Therefore, a great speech should also have some clear, immediate actions that signal seriousness to walk the talk. And so by giving the speech and immediately saying that they would be moving the command closer to the place where the war, where the battle is going on, so that the leaders of the military establishment will of course be as proximate to the situation and be able to truly lead the effort. Leadership is everything in war. And so for me, I see that as an important signal, and we can only wait for there to be some important milestones in the direction of what the new president has spoken, and then we would know whether really we are in for a greater and more glorious Nigeria.
Thank you.
Well, Captain Ali Usman is another Nigerian who agrees that the military command center should be relocated to Maiduguri. Captain Usman says moving the intelligence to the battlefield will give the military the edge to fight Boko Haram. But on rescuing the Chibok girls, he says it will not be an easy task for the military.
Maiduguri is where the party is. Okay? It's not unusual to see people, top brass, move to the area of operation when you have such serious situations on ground. Some people don't understand it, so they seem to be a bit skeptical. We are not saying go take the entire army headquarters and move it to Maiduguri, structure and all. No. I want to take us back in time to when the United States, for example, was doing the Operation Desert Storm. And there were field commanders who were actually co-located with the troops, like Norman Schwarzkopf. In fact, at a point in time, Donald Rumsfeld even moved his office briefly to Ground Zero. And that brings about two things. That brings about first-hand insight to what is happening, and that brings about motivation for the troops. In Nigeria, it's not uncommon too. We've had people do it. The president, for example, sometime in the 80s, had to leave Jos, where he was general officer commanding 3 Armored Division, and lead troops when Chad incurred into our territories. He led the Armored Brigade, and he moved from Jos down to the same Maiduguri we're talking about. Out of Nigeria, Maxwell Kobe did it in Sierra Leone. When when our troops had to take Koso town, it was one tough assignment, and after a few days he wasn't getting results. He flew a chopper there and led them himself. It was motivating. What they could not do in a matter of days with high casualties, they did in a matter of hours. In hours, because the big boy was on ground, Koso town was already behind the troops. So I feel it's going to motivate troops, and perchance, if our chiefs had been on ground, we may not have had the high number of boys who ran away from battle that we did, 579 in all. If you look at the situation on ground, we seem to be having a merry-go-round, situation of occurrences. The stability we were able to achieve 6 weeks extension-wise of the elections, it's already blinking. Things are beginning to happen again. So we're seeing a merry-go-round situation where we take and lose, we take and lose. And I can tell you that a lot of the speculation, a lot of the gray areas, a lot of the bottlenecks that have addressed the northeastern situation may not have occurred if the top brass himself was on Ground Zero. Going to Ground Zero is not necessarily going into Borno State. You could be as close to Borno as Bauchi. but certainly not as far-flung or outflung as Abuja. It doesn't work that way. Most of the arguments I have had against this move sound to me more like excuses than reasons, okay? And I tell you something, if today I had to actually play the role of a chief, I'm going to actually go as close to the battlefield as possible, because that's what the profession is about. Close to the battlefield means I'm going to have first-hand, on-time, real-time grasp of situations. Talking about communications, we saw in the past where chiefs had to wait in Abuja to be told what's going on. They go on air with it only to hear that, hey, no, it's wrong. It's not that, something else is going on. So at a point in time, the world didn't know who to believe. The defense chief is there. He can wait on the president. But the chief, I mean, come on.
What was the target? How many people are we looking for? So if you don't bring back the girls, is he not setting himself up for consistent criticism, saying, well, you've not succeeded if you don't bring back the girls?
Bringing back the girls and curbing terrorism, that is stabilizing the Northeast and securing it, are two different things, though they all happen to be co-located within the same area of operations. Bringing back the girls, for Nigerians, the truth be spoken, will not be an easy task, and I'll tell you why. If I led a terrorist sect like the Boko Haram, those girls are actually insurance. Yes, indeed, they are insurance. The concerns, the publicity they have received makes them such that I can actually use them to bargain. A window of opportunity opened. Unfortunately, it was not taken.
Well, we have another view which says moving the military command center to Maiduguri may not yield the desired results in the long run, because the transformation of Boko Haram's tactics is now pure terror. Now, this is the position of a security consultant, Dr. Ona Ekomu, who says it'll make the command center vulnerable and an attractive target for the insurgents. According to him, what's needed to effectively combat the group is intelligence assets, more planning, and a strategic assessment of Boko Haram's capabilities.
You don't carry your command center and go and put it in the middle of a barrel, because it just takes one well-placed IED and you destroy the whole command and control, you know. And and now particularly Maiduguri worries me, because we have seen so many spirited Boko Haram attacks against Giwa barracks in Maiduguri. So many spirited attacks because of the transformation, if I may, that has occurred within Boko Haram terrorist tactics. That is, they have gone now to pure terror, you know, where they use suicide bombers, they use stealth attacks, they use active shooter to attack targets. They are not lined up anymore. When they were lined up, when they took the whole of, in fact, 75% of Borno State, it was a useful strategy then to have the troops go out, because you had an arrayed force that you wanted to go up against, but not when they are doing pure terror. What you need in terror tactics is more intelligence assets. You need more cerebral planning. You need what we call, first of all, what is the vulnerability assessment? You know, a way of mapping what is Boko Haram's future capability, what is their present capability, and what is their fighting spirit like, and what are the kinds of attacks they've carried out. So what do we need? We need more knowledge tools. That's really what I'm saying, because right now it appears the military has gotten its rhythm right by way of equipment, by way of tactics, and we'll see them pursuing Boko Haram guys in Sambisa forest. That is beautiful. But now what we need is more of the knowledge tools, things about complex synthetic threat assessments, and then vulnerability assessments, and then synthetics like TVIs, you know, such that we can now understand what is really driving it. How are we going to be able to protect against them? And then how are we going to win them? Because at the end of the day, this war is going to be won on intelligence.
Away from security matters now, and the death toll in the Onitsha tanker accident has risen to 69. The tanker loaded with petrol was said to have lost control and rammed into Asaba Motor Park in Upper Iweka, Onitsha, before exploding. The 40-foot tanker, according to eyewitnesses, was descending from the Army Barracks area of Onitsha-Enugu Expressway when the accident occurred.
Sunday evening, May the 31st, 2015 is a day residents of Onitsha, Anambra State cannot forget so easily. The day ended with this gory sight at Asaba Park, Upper Iweka axis. This burnt tanker was loaded with petrol, had brake failure and rammed into the convenience built at the park, killing over 60 people. The 40-foot tanker, according to eyewitnesses, was descending from Army Barracks area of Onitsha, Enugu Expressway, when the accident occurred. The most touching is the case of a pregnant woman who was also burnt.
It's move on, and I told my passenger maybe this vehicle will brake failure. So I didn't know that 2 is a brake failure. So on the way come back, I just hit down. The man who will shoot ever able to shoot fight ever on the man. You put the end. Yes. Korea. So the woman. Even on where then one boy here about the
I suppose in a rain where tanker should be going. Not this is a marketplace. We have a lot of Nigerians marketing here. So tankers don't have to take at this particular place.
Governor Willie Obiano visited the scene of the incident and described it as a calamity that is beyond words. He sympathized with the affected families, assuring of state government's intervention.
What I want to say to tanker drivers is, and what we've been doing to the parks is to make sure that their vehicle is very well taken care of. We've given instructions to the road safety to stop and check on the vehicles that are not roadworthy and stop them.
Upper Iweka axis has been known to be a black spot, and just last 2 months, according to the people, a similar accident had occurred with over 50 persons losing their lives. In the present circumstance, there is an outcry by the people to regulate heavy-duty vehicles on the major road, especially those that ply Upper Iweka axis to avoid repeated and incessant accidents.
Meanwhile, the president has extended his condolences to Governor Willie Obiano of Anambra State and the people of the state over the tanker fire. In a statement issued by his senior special assistant on media and publicity, Garba Shehu, the president described the incident as a sad and unfortunate loss. He says the incident was made more unfortunate by the number of families who are currently mourning the loss of their loved ones. Mr. Buhari adds that his deepest sympathies are with all those who are mourning. Now, when the news at 10 returns, new African Development Bank president pledges to pursue policies and programs that would rescue Africa from poverty and wars. To join us again.